Okay, I think we will go ahead and get started. I am delighted to welcome all of you to this webinar, and I'm excited and honored to introduce you to my colleague. First, my name is Megan Mosslander. I am the Chief of Development and External Relations here at Legal Aid of Nebraska, and I'm honored to introduce you to my colleague who is the Managing Director of our Debt and Finance Priority Area here at Legal Aid. She is an amazing attorney, and she's going to kick us off. And then we will learn more about how the emergency broadband package works. So thank you again. If you have questions, you may put them in the Q&A part, and we will get those to you. We also will be sending an email out with the recording and the deck. So if you have to step away for a few minutes, but again, thank you, and I will turn it over to Lee.
Great, thank you, Megan. Thanks for joining us to learn more about the emergency broadband package. We're going to start with just a few short facts about Legal Aid. So if we could go to the next slide. Legal Aid of Nebraska is the largest nonprofit law firm in Nebraska. We serve every single county in Nebraska, and there are 93 of them. We do that through our 7 offices, which are across the state, and we will have more information about how you can refer clients to us at the end. We do have different priority areas, which include housing, representing tenants and homeowners, children and family, which is primarily family law and also juvenile court, debt and finance, which is the unit that I manage, which helps consumers with debt issues, and also income and benefits. So we help people get the benefits that they're entitled to supplement their income. And we're very excited today to welcome Alma Hughes. She is coming to us from the Federal Trade Communication Commission, known as the FCC. So Alma, please, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I will be facilitating the questions. So if anyone has any questions, just put them in the chat box, and we will try and get to your question at the end of the presentation.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Ms. Lee, for that. My name, as Ms. Lee said, my name is Alma Hughes, and I'm from the Federal Communication Commission here in the Washington, D.C. area. And I'm just going to talk to you for a few minutes. I don't want to bore you. So I'm going to talk to you a few minutes about a new program that Congress has tasked the FCC with developing, a new $3.2 billion program to help U.S. households that's struggling to pay for internet service during this pandemic. While a lot of us has been working from home for over 15 months and our children has been homeschooled, there have been quite a few households that's been struggling to pay for their internet service. So Congress tasked us with this to develop this program, and it's happening. It's happening now. So what I'm going to talk to you about, what is the benefit, who is eligible, how can households apply, and just a little bit about the FCC Partner Toolkit. Next slide, please. What is the benefit? The Emergency Broadband Benefit Program, which we has been calling the EBB program, is a federal communication FCC program that provides a temporary, and I'll elaborate on that word, temporary discount on monthly broadband bills for qualifying, and I'll tell you as we go on what makes you qualify, low-income households. Eligible households can receive up to $50 a month discount for broadband service and associated equipment rentals. If you live on a tribal land, you can receive up to $75 a month discount off your bill. This program also offers a one-time discount of up to $100 for a laptop, desktop computer, or tablet purchased through a participating provider. And we will see what a participating provider is. You are in, what state are you in? Nebraska. I've been doing so many of these, I can already say Hawaii, but no, you're you're in Nebraska, and on that provider list, which I have provided, I think Ms. Lee, I sent it to you, the link, and you can click on Nebraska to see which providers are listed in your area. Next slide, please. Who qualifies for the benefit? A household is eligible if any one member received a Pell Grant in the current award year, is approved to receive benefits under the free and reduced school lunch program or school breakfast program during the 2019, 2020, or 2020, 2021 school year. If any one member experienced a substantial loss of income due to a lost job or a furlough since February 29, 20, and a household has a total income in 2020 below the $99 single filers or $198,000 for joint filers, or meets the eligibility of a participating provider's existing COVID-19 or low-income program. Some providers already have a program in place. So if you are one of them ones that are getting that credit, you're also eligible for the EBB program. Next slide, please. Households that qualify for Lifeline also qualify. What is Lifeline? Lifeline is a federal program that lowers the monthly cost of phone and internet. Eligible customers will get up to $9.25, up to $34.25 if you live on tribal lands towards their bill. How do you qualify for Lifeline? A household income is less than 135% of the federal poverty guidelines, or any one member of the household participates in SNAP, which is formerly known as food stamps, Medicaid, SSI, federal public housing assistance, veterans pension and survivors benefit, or if you're a part of the tribal program and you live on qualifying tribal lands. Next slide, please. What is a household? A household is a group of people who live together and share money, even if they are not related to each other. If you live together and share money, you are one household. If you either don't live together or you don't share money, you are two or more households. A household can qualify because of eligible dependent children that meet the eligibility criteria. That's what I mentioned earlier. If they were part of the school or breakfast free lunch program, that child or children make their house eligible. You may have to answer some questions about your household when you apply for the Emergency Broadband Benefit Program, and we'll get into a little later how to apply. And at the same time, you may be required to fill out a worksheet to assist in determining household eligibility. Next slide, please. Multi-unit dwellings. Eligible households within multi-unit dwellings such as apartment buildings, nursing homes, and group homes can also take advantage of the benefit. Households within multi-unit dwellings where the landlord or the property manager is the internet account holder may be able to apply the benefit to that broadband service if they otherwise qualify. If the household has a bill or other liability for their broadband access that someone else, such as the property owner, is helping to pay, the household could switch temporarily to using EBB support to pay for broadband service instead of relying on that third-party support. Next slide, please. As I mentioned earlier, the Emergency Broadband Benefit Program that is up and running and opened up on May 12th, last week. The Emergency Broadband Benefit is a temporary program developed in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Please note that this program will end once the program funds are exhausted or 6 months after the Department of Health and Human Services declares an end to the pandemic, whichever comes first. The program is administered by the Universal Service Administrator Company, USAC. They also administer the Lifeline program. So if you're part of the Lifeline program, Lifeline have all of this information on file. But if you want to apply for the EBB, you must apply for it. Because you're a Lifeline, you're part of Lifeline, that doesn't automatically put you over on the EBB program. So you must apply for EBB, and yes, you can have EBB and Lifeline at the same time. Also, I'll notice that USAC is hosting this application portal and the getemergencybroadband.org consumer website. So when you're ready to, we'll see that as we go along. Next slide, please. Consumers protection. Participating providers must give households notice about the last date or billing cycle that the full benefit will apply to their bill, and the date or billing cycle that a partial benefit will apply to their bill, in addition to information about the cost of broadband service after the program ends. Your provider must adhere to what we just said here. Household will need to opt in or request to continue broadband services with their provider. If they don't opt in or select a new service plan with the provider, their broadband service will end once the program ends. Even if they had service with the same provider before enrolling in the EBB program, they would need to opt in to continue broadband services after the program ends. Next slide, please. The program is open to all broadband providers, not just those currently offering Lifeline services. Again, you can check out the broadband provider list. You can click on that link to find out what provider is participating in this program. Fixed broadband service are provided to your home or a single location. These include cable, fiber optic, DSL, satellite, and fixed wireless services. Mobile broadband service are device-based and available throughout the service provider's cellular coverage area, similar to cell phone services. Check with the broadband providers in your area to learn about their plans for this program, participation, and eligible service offering. Next slide, please. Also, I should note that not all providers in your area are participating. That's why we put this list together so you can see which provider is participating. There are 3 ways to apply for the EBB program. Option 1, contact a participating broadband provider directly to learn about their application process, or you can apply online by going to getemergencybroadband.org, or you can send a mail-in application along with proof of eligibility to the address listed there. Next slide, please. And this is telling you how to enroll via a provider. You will contact the service provider directly, and they can enroll you in that program. You can fill out the application through them. Next slide, please. If you apply online, you will visit getemergencybroadband.org. You will click how to apply and complete the electronic application. Then after receiving an eligibility determination, you will contact the service provider to enroll in an EBB program. So once you apply online, once you get the confirmation that you have been approved, then your next step will be contact your provider that you choose to give them that information so they can enroll you in the program so that you can start receiving that discount. Next slide, please. Apply by mail. You can download and print a paper application from getemergencybroadband.org. The participating providers may also supply consumers with paper application, and you will mail your completed application to the address listed. To help with application processing includes supporting documents to prove eligibility and the household worksheet. Now, I should also emphasize that if you're applying by mail and if you're applying online, whatever document is requested, it's important that you submit copies, especially by mail, of those documents. Whatever you submit to USAC, it will not be returned back to you. So it's important that you do not submit your original document, but copies of it. And then online, I was online last week trying to register my mother. And the application is not a long process. And you go from page to page. I think it's like 3 or 4 pages, but it's not a lot of questions. And before you can go to the next page, I think they were asking for ID information. I had to download that ID information, say like her driver's license, before it allowed me to go to the next page. So just know that before you can click over to the next page, you must completely fill out the first page. Again, this application is not a long, when I say it's not a long process, it's not a long process. And I think it's maybe about 17 questions that's on there, 17 or 18, but you may not have to answer each if it doesn't pertain to you. Next slide, please. And as I was saying, it's important that you would show with any documents that they request that you should send that to them. So it will not hold up your process. Next slide, please. Now, the FCC has put together an outreach toolkit, and it is a toolkit of collection of social media, printables, and other tools to assist communities such as yourself, partners, grassroots organizers in raising awareness around the EBB program. So on the next couple of slides, you will see what the toolkit consists of. Next slide, please. There are social printables and videos at PSAs. Next slide. The social media support is logos, social media images, draft social media images, newsletters, press release. This is something that you is welcome to use to get the word out. Next slide, please. Printables. There are different printables within this toolkit that you also can use to get the slides out. And I'm not going to stay on these because you'll get a copy of this and you see more what I'm speaking of. Videos and PSAs. You can do that. Overview video, how to apply video, radio PSAs, PowerPoint slide deck, such as this one. Next slide, please. Now the toolkit, the application itself is in English and Spanish. Now we see all these translated languages. These languages are for the instruction of the application, not the application itself. So the application is in Spanish and English, but we have instructions in other different languages. And these are some of the languages. I think 2 or 3 of these should come off because we didn't get those languages, but majority of the languages you see here, the instructions are listed there on the website. Next slide, please. The FCC EBB Consumer Hub, www.fcc.gov/broadband benefit. If you have any questions about this program, you can always send an email to this particular email. Understand that USEC has now taken over this program because of the application. When I say taken over, they are the ones handling all the application process. Any questions pertaining to the application, you should call the toll-free number 833-511-0311. And to apply, you would go to getemergencybroadband.org. This is a quick, I believe that's the last slide. Okay, this is a quick overview of the program itself. But I've sent Ms. Lee links to FAQs, links to the broadband benefit itself, and a link to the list of providers in your area. If you click on those links, it'll give you more information in detail. But if anyone have any questions after we are done here today, feel free, if you send them to Ms. Lee can get the questions to me and I will do my best to answer it. But understand, when it comes to the application itself, the FCC do not have any information pertaining to the application. I'll give you an example. I was doing a presentation on yesterday, and the gentleman asked a very good question. His question was, who maintains this personal information that is being imported? Now, the FCC does not maintain the information. This application is under USEC. So I encourage him to contact USEC to find out exactly how and who maintains the personal information. Say like a copy of your ID. Somewhere along the line, I think with my mother's, when I got to that point, because she's retired, so I either had to send a copy of her income tax or a copy of her, I think 1099, whatever they get for retirement. I stopped there because I need to get her permission before to see if I can submit that. So those type of information, you want to know who maintains it, and if they are keeping it, I suggest that you will call USEC at that toll-free number. So up to this point, Ms. Lee, if there's time for questions, I'll be happy to answer any question. And if there's a question or questions that I'm unable to answer, I would get those answers back to you within 24 hours.
Great, thank you. We do have a couple of questions. So one of the questions has to do with eligibility. And the question is, who makes the determination of eligibility? And if someone is determined ineligible, is there an appeal process or another way to request a review of that?
Okay, the first question, USAT is the organization that's handling all application process, okay? Your second question, you say if there's an appeal?
Right, if someone is determined ineligible by USAP, is there an appeal process?
Now, in reading the reporting order and all the other information, I have not seen where you can appeal this if you are found you're not eligible. But again, to get a clarification on that, I'm gonna send that up to my front office and ask them that I would need an answer back by tomorrow morning. And my supervisor, they're good about getting answers back to me, but that's a good question. That's a good question.
Do you know if someone is denied, if they're told why they were denied?
I don't know, but helping someone to do Lifeline, because Lifeline, EBB, they're run by the same organization, and that person at that time was not eligible for Lifeline. They did tell why, and I think it was a document or something that didn't meet the qualifications. And I'm quite sure they would do the same thing with the EBB program. If you're found that you're not eligible, they're supposed to get back with you, I think via email or whatever type of contact information you gave them, or by mail. And in that, if they're doing the same way they do Lifeline, it would tell you the reason why you were not eligible.
Okay. And another question, what do you need to do if you already have service through a participating provider? Do they just transfer your current system service to the EBB program?
Well, if you already have a current provider that's on the list of providers that are participating, the first thing you need to do, notify them, because you have to give them, I think it's some type of number that you're given at the end of your process. You have to give them that number to show and proof that you are eligible for this. Your provider is not going to automatically do it until you notify them, because you need to give them information. They need to input that's part of the EBB program.
And another question, is the Lifeline program something we have access to in Nebraska, in Omaha specifically? I haven't heard of it before.
You haven't? Oh my goodness. That's a different story, Lifeline in Nebraska. Let me handle that one different. And let me look up or get back to a supervisor. That's a great program. That is a
I'm gonna say I'm looking, and it does list a number of companies.
You will go under, well, you see companies like SafeLink or SafeLink Wireless, or you will go on the USAT website, and I guess search, you can put in Lifeline. That is a great company, and anybody that I know I can help to get that, I do. I have a brother-in-law, I was excited to get him enrolled, and it was an easy process. So yeah, I'm also gonna look that up too, Lifeline in Nebraska.
I'm doing a search on companies near me on the website here. So there is a whole list for EBB mobile and home internet, but I do not see Lifeline.
No. Lifeline is a different program. Okay, you're not gonna see it under EBB. Lifeline is another discount program, not EBB, but both programs you can apply, you can have at the same time.
Right.
EBB is a temporary program that Congress we have put in place. Again, once the $3.2 billion runs out, then the program ends. But Lifeline goes on. The word life goes on forever. So the thing about Lifeline, once a person applied for and is approved and they're up and running, it just every year at that time, their anniversary time, they must just renew it. But like Lifeline, if you're going to use that website and plug in Lifeline, you should be able to read more about the Lifeline.
Great.
And it will walk you through how to a person can apply and the different documents they may need. SNAP, SSI, Medicaid will qualify them for Lifeline. Just not all of those, just one, at least one of those. So again, I share, say again, Lifeline and the Emergency Broadband Benefit Program are two different programs. The Emergency Broadband Benefit Program is temporary, but the Lifeline program is for life. So yes.
So I see we have an attorney in our Norfolk office who said that she was able to find lots of providers in her area. And then several people have shared links about abbnebraska.com, which has information about Lifeline, and also PSC Nebraska. And we'll make sure to share all those with everyone.
And then also too, I let me suggest that, you know, right now we want to get people up and on the EBB program. Who doesn't want a discount, even if it's for 4 or 5 months, okay? But also at the same time, we can, those same people, if they are not part of Lifeline, when time allows you, sign them up for Lifeline. Yes, but again, just remember it's two different programs.
Great.
Yeah, that's good.
Do we have any other questions? All right. Well, we are at 12:30. And so, as I said, we'll be forwarding the slides and also the links that we've talked about here, particularly at the end, to make sure that you can connect yourself or your clients with these programs. And so everyone's aware, we do have a statewide access line. If you or a client needs to apply for services, you can call our access line at the dates and times that are listed here, and you can also apply online if you go to our website. For more information on Legal Aid of Nebraska, we urge you to follow us on social media. We are active on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And we thank you very much for attending. And thank you, Alma, very much for coming to Nebraska. We appreciated having your expertise today and all of the materials that you have provided to us. This is going to be very helpful to a lot of people. Thank you.
And thank you for inviting the FCC. Again, if you have any further questions, Ms. Lee, or anyone within your group, please feel free to send me an email and I'll do my best to get the answer back to you.
Great. Thank you.
On that, everyone, please have a great rest of your Thursday.
Thanks.
All righty. All right.